Welcome back to Runway from the Rav, a Project Runway podcast. My name is Riley.
Maggie.
And today we'll be discussing Project Runway All-Stars Season 6, Episode 10, Rock Your Face Off! But, actually the music they chose was all, free, that you could use. Didn't have to pay any fees. So last week we learned that they were going to do, this musical performance thing, and we were kind of thinking, maybe they're going to travel, because they haven't really gone anywhere outside of New York. Nope, turns out they went to Times Square to the Hard Rock Cafe. Mm-hmm. And there they met, some lady from Hard Rock Cafe and Alyssa Milano, and they say, you're going to be tasked to make dazzling performance wear for a musical artist to wear on stage. But they didn't actually have a musical artist who was going to wear it. So we've had challenges in the past where they were going to have, I can't remember the name of the band. It was some country duo, and they were actually going to wear those outfits someplace. That was a couple seasons ago, but they didn't actually have a musical guest. And even our
that's right, Little Big Town.
There we go. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So they made day and night looks or something for them, for their kind of fashion. But this time it's just the generic, just make a look and that's it. And then they got to pick a track from the jukebox to pick it, but they didn't know what it was going to be. They just were track 1, track 3, and turns out that there were 3 different genres: rock, country, and pop. So that means 6 designers, 3, genres of music meant we're going to have our face off, which to them means the 2 people who make rock looks will be judged together, against each other, and then the country folks judged against each other. And then the top 3 winners, one of them would be the winner, and then the bottom 3 losers, one of them would lose. So that's what they meant by face-off last week, because I'm isn't it always a face-off? I guess a face-off is only one face versus another one face, not 16 faces. And then we learned that the winner, and this is exciting, listen up, gets to design a t-shirt to be sold in select Hard Rock cafes across the world, and now this is slightly better. They will get a trip to a Hard Rock hotel in Cancun, Mexico. So, fashion, high fashion, Times Square, New York City, all stars, t-shirt.
Yeah.
How did we feel about the challenge overall?
Disappointed. I thought, like we discussed last week, maybe there would be a specific performer. Mm-hmm. No. Just super open, whatever, could be anybody. So, not super excited about that. Just seemed kind of irrelevant. And then, wow, that prize.
Luckily, they tacked on the Mexico trip, because otherwise, yikes.
A t-shirt is to me, I feel like that would be a slap in the face to, a professional fashion designer.
Yeah, I mean, compared to a Dixie cup, what's a t-shirt?
I mean, yeah.
But as an all-star, especially and now, granted, I don't know if it's just going to have, Edmund's face on it. I'm sorry, I just spoiled the winner. But anyway, you've seen it. I messed up. Anyway, is it going to have just, now, I have purchased the Project Runway Dixie cups. They are coffee to-go cups that Brandon Key helped with. And all over the packaging, it says, inspired by Project Runway and all this kind of stuff with Brandon Key and everything. So is the t-shirt going to be like that? Is it just going to be a Project Runway shirt? Or is it going to be actually something they design and have, cool... Is it just going to be, a normal Hanes t-shirt screen printed? Or is it going to be, an actual... I guess I have a lot of questions about the t-shirt. Mm-hmm. But I guess it's probably just a normal t-shirt.
Because the t-shirt has nothing to do with what they actually design.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. It's not tied back to their designs for the challenge at all. And then also, I've heard several times now that this was filmed in 2016. So have they been selling this shirt for 2 years? Or did they not get to sell the shirt until now?
Yeah.
Because no one would have cared. So probably the shirt's on sale now. So... Race over to your local Hard Rock Cafe. We don't have one anywhere near us. Have you ever been to a Hard Rock Cafe?
Actually, yes. Oh. I think I have.
Where?
I don't know. I have a vague memory of maybe going there on a school trip.
Oh.
You know what? It could have even been the New York one.
Oh, really? The Times Square one?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I feel like this is something I should definitely have remembered, but I'm a goldfish. I don't know.
I've been to like a Rainforest Cafe. I've never been to a Hard Rock Cafe.
This is gonna drive me crazy. I feel like maybe I went there on like my high school band trip.
Oh, okay.
We did like the band director likes to make it sound fancier. He calls it a North American tour. It was just like you went to Toronto and New York. So it was cool, but I mean, I don't know if I call it a tour, but
well,
we need to move along.
What an exciting insight to Maggie's high school life. Okay, so we also learned that it was going to be a one-day challenge, of course, and that they were going to get $250 in mood, which is a pretty typical amount, nothing too fancy. We also learned that we were going to have a different mentor this week, so Rebecca Minkoff will be the mentor instead of Ann Fullenwider. I was excited about that. We already saw Rebecca as a guest judge during the ill-fated, let's say, Betty Boop episode. She was great as a guest judge. I think she has much better insights because, she's actually a designer. So I was excited about her being a mentor. Mm-hmm. And I wonder, well, we'll get to that. So then when they race off to Mood, they sketch at the Hard Rock Cafe in their pairings, but like they're all being like, like, oh, don't look at my book, so it was Anthony and Ken got paired up in rock. Stanley and Edmund were rock. Anthony and Ken were pop. Fabio and Helen were country. So obviously Helen and Fabio were both like country. Same, honestly. I'm not a huge country music fan. Anthony and Ken both seem to be fine with pop. And then Stanley, I've got a quote about him getting rock. And then Edmund was like, yeah, I make stuff for performers. I'm super excited to have rock. And I was like, no, Edmund. So they sketched there, which is it was cool since I've never been to one. They have like halved guitars like all over the wall. And they had a big jukebox and stuff. We saw this location reveal in like one of the beginning episodes of the season being like the preview. But I couldn't tell like who all was there or where it was. But now I know. Mm-hmm. Times Square. If nothing else, we're getting a great tour of cool parts, cool streets in New York City. So then we go to Mood. Helen almost runs over poor Swatch.
Yes.
He's like coming out of the aisle, like chewing on like a bone, as a Swatch will do. And Helen's running around because they only got 30 minutes to shop. She about trips over him and would have probably done more damage to poor old Swatch. But luckily, she narrowly avoided it because Swatch used a death movement of like, and she didn't even notice. She just like plowed on by. But I was like, Swatch! Like my life flashed before my eyes.
It was so Helen.
Typical Helen. And otherwise, we just saw Swatch like kind of laying by the door, probably being like, "Where's Tim?" No other really big mood moments. Like there wasn't any real exciting stuff other than like there's always someone just running around. Like at this point, come on, it's episode 10. You've been to Mood like most of those episodes. Maybe only one or two that they did, like the ball challenge and the Zach Posen challenge. So it's like you got to know your lay around a bit, that you're not like. Any mood moments for you?
No, the Swatch one was the only notable one.
There's a gif of it on YouTube if you want to relive the horror. So we get into the workroom and there's quite a few people struggling this week. Mostly because I think a couple of them didn't get the genre they were really expecting. And then it was so limited, like rock, country, and pop. I guess are kind of like the three big ones. But there was no like R&B or like rap or hip hop. There was no like classical music. It was just kind of, or even different genres of rock, like metal or something like that. It was just kind of like, well, here you go. Mm-hmm. So a little limiting. So Stanley was struggling quite a bit because Stanley always had like this big picture in his mind. And he wants to make like a billion different parts and pieces. We've seen him do this almost every week. And then he's just struggling with time because he kind of has a bigger eyes in his stomach. Helen was struggling because she chose sequins and she made her entire look out of sequins. So she's like, why sequins? Why did I do this? Because they're not the easiest thing to work with and make look good with like hems and stuff. And then Ken was also struggling a little bit with time as well because he wanted to do like this applique kind of thing and he just was running out of time. Because they basically they had 10 hours on the first day, and then they have like 2 hours, but they also have to send their model away and like be forced to go and talk to the hair guy, and who knows how long that takes out of their time. I'm assuming they all talk to the makeup guy and the hair guy, and then the editors just choose a couple moments, I assume.
Yeah.
At one point on the first day, late at night, they have about an hour left, Helen just lays down on the floor and is like, I'm so tired, I can't make this. Like, dress, make yourself. And like, Ken gave her this look. And I was like, Ken, what was it, last week or the week before? You sat down and ate chicken for 2 hours. Like, Ken, you don't get to judge Helen. I, however, get to judge all of them, and I think you should just keep working. I've said that about people who, like, take naps and stuff, too, though. But otherwise, by the end, they were just, like, by the end of the second day, they all just had, like, a lot of time issues and everything. Mm-hmm. And then we did have Rebecca Minkoff came around, and it seemed to be a much different mood in the workroom than when Anne comes around. Like, everybody seemed a lot more positive. And she had slightly more insightful things to say. She asked more questions rather than just, are you going to have enough time to finish this? Are you making sure that you're blah, blah, blah for the challenge? Like, she also played them off of each other better, you know, so she's like, okay, so you're making this. You just have to make sure that it stands out versus that, which I thought was nice to be kind of like, as a designer, you're not just selling, like, for Rebecca Minkoff, you're not just selling a handbag in Abyss. You're selling a handbag on a wall with 1,000 other handbags. How is yours going to be better? Mm-hmm. Same thing here. You're up there with 6 other garments. How's yours going to stand out? Especially if it's the same genre as another one. So I liked her input a lot better. Do you have any workroom or mentor moments?
No, not really. No. I'll just stop.
The workroom felt a little tense in the beginning because, like, it's narrowed down now. There are only 6 of them, and it just felt a little more like, like, I don't know, a little, like, tense. But it seemed to get a little more freer later on. I wish we saw, like, I feel it was so weird earlier in the season where they were like, the sister wives, and they do this and that in that one episode, and then they just never talked about that again. Not once. And we occasionally see, like, Anthony and Ken talking, or, like, Anthony and Fabio talking, but Anthony also goes and talks to Stanley and, like, other people, so it's like he was talking to Merlene that one episode, so it's just like, is it just Anthony's just friends with everybody because he's a nice guy? Like... Yeah.
Well, that's what it seems like.
Yeah. Would I be a sister wife with Anthony if I met him one time? Like, at the grocery store? Like, yes. Please. Okay, so on to the runway?
Yeah.
Okay, so our guest judge this week was Olivia Culpo, who was a model and also Miss USA and Miss Universe. So I would say that's a Galaxy Queen, as close as we can get. I've never heard of her or knew anything about her, but...
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't really follow the pageants or modeling that much, I should say.
She's an actress, too.
Is she? What's she been in?
Unless I'm confusing her for someone else. I think I am. I take it back.
Not Olivia Munn.
No. No. I'm confusing her for... what the heck's her name? Rose Byrne? She was in Bridesmaids, you know? Mm-hmm. Helen, I think.
I don't think that's...
It's not the same person.
Different person.
It's a completely different person.
Yeah.
Wow.
Identifying models with Maggie.
This has been a really strong episode for me.
Well, you know, the show hasn't really been that interesting, to be quite honest. We got to start fluffing the podcast with as much interesting content as we can. And, you know, I appreciate our partnership. Oh all right. So first up down the runway, we had Rock. And first we had Stanley. And Stanley put down a 4-piece look. So it's these black, kind of like fishnet tights, but slightly like thicker mesh to about the mid-calf. Over top of that, and then there's a little like top made of that mesh as well. Over top of that is a leather. Now he used pleather and real leather. Black leather with red and gray like chevrons up and down the front in an even pattern for a little vest, like a little cropped vest, and a little like kind of high-waisted A-line mini skirt. What did we think of Stanley's?
This one, I don't know. I didn't really love it. It felt like he was trying really, really hard. Like, I guess I appreciate the time he took to, like, try and create that kind of stripy pattern. But he did the classic mistake of where you make an arrow directly to the V.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah. Gotta point somewhere.
I guess. He didn't do that on the shirt, though, unless he's pointing to the chest. I don't know.
Yeah.
Double whammy, I guess. I don't know. I just felt like overall this whole look was just cliche. Like, he was doing all the cliches of, like, the color scheme. You know, the red, the black, whatever, the fishnets. I don't know. He just... I don't know if I believe Stanley when he says he knows rock. He rocks.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sold. What do you think?
Yeah, I like the styling of her hair. She's got, like, this blunt bang and kind of this choppy haircut. She's got this cool, like, leather thing on her wrist with a bit of fringe. And then these just truly horrid leopard print platform heels are just terrible. But I saw someone, and I shouldn't say this because it should be my unique idea, but I saw someone on Twitter say that this looks like what a Disney Channel, like, rock band would dress up. And I can't unsee it. I could totally see, like, 10 years ago or something like that, Demi Lovato wearing this.
That's
and, like, Camp Rock. Like,
yes.
I couldn't get out of my head, so I had to say it. That's exactly what it looks like. And like you said, yeah, it looks like a caricature of what you think, like, a 14-year-old girl in her first rock band would look like. And it's just like, Stanley. It's just too matchy-matchy. And then the mesh on the legs is so close to fishnet that it airs more trashy than rocky. Like, it doesn't really look elevated. It just kind of looks like a mess. Like, she woke up like this on, like, her third bender in a row, you know? And he was actually in the bottom. Next up, we had Edmund, and he put down his first pants of the season for him. And he was like, I'm going to bust out pants. And it's like, hey, as Anthony said, take a chance on pants. So he ended up putting down separate. So he put down some, like, really, like, skinny pants that are this, it's hard to tell. I believe they're, like, something like a leather or pleather material. They've got some shine to them, but then they also have this textured pattern. And they go all the way to the ankle. And then on top, it's like a little... It's a lot, folks. Let me zoom in here. So it's like a little leather vest, but it's all choppy, and it's in this kind of interesting texture that's got, like, these, like, silver or gray, like, paint splatters, but not quite. And then underneath that is, like, this fine mesh top, like a halter top. And then the back of the vest is cut away, so there's this nice peekaboo moment. And then he put, like, a belt of fringe around her waist. And she's styled with this, like, really messy, like, bedhead hair and then these little black wedges. How did we feel about Edmund's?
I don't know. To me, this one was kind of a surprise from Edmund. It, like, did kind of deviate from what he normally does. The pants, definitely different for him.
Yes.
But, I don't know. This one, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I don't know. I'm not usually a fan of fringe, and I don't like the fringe on this.
Yeah.
To me, it's kind of crazy and out of control. It's super long, but I don't know. Like, when I look at the individual pieces, I'm not sure how I feel about them, but when I look at the look, like, as a whole, I do like the vibe. To me, this one reads way more like rock than Stanley's did. What do you think?
I agree. I think as a whole it works, and I think on stage, I hate fringe almost as much as I hate a ruffle. But I think on stage it would look really cool. I think when she's just, like, standing there waiting for the bus, it looks a bit sloppy, as does the top, because there's just kind of a lot going on in the front. I love the back. The back is so cool. And the pants, at least because the fringe is, like, obscures it a bit, they look like they fit perfect and have this really cool kind of pattern to them. And with her hair styling and everything, I could see her up there with a guitar and, like, with all that movement of, like, her hair and the fringe. I think it would look pretty cool. I think she looks a little, like, retro rock to me. Like, I could see, like, Joan Jett wearing this, and maybe not so much, like, a modern kind of, like, female rock star. Like, I find it hard. Like, the most, like, popular one I could think of would be, like, Paramore, like Hayley Williams. I don't know that I'd see her wearing this necessarily, or certain other, like, modern day female rockers, but that doesn't mean that this wouldn't look cool on the right kind of person. I think it's pretty successful, which surprised me because last week Edmund and Josh were on the bottom, and I was like, double a limb. Next up, we had country. A little bit rock and roll, a little bit country. So first up, we had Fabio, and he made a romper out of denim. One of the first denim looks I think we've had. He mentioned it was denim. Or parts of it are denim anyway. So this is a little, it's kind of like an off-white, like an eggshell romper. The fabric, the denim he chose, has a bit of a sheen to it. And it kind of looks like booty shorts with a vest on top. But it is a romper. It's connected in the front. And then in the back, the back of the vest is also open. Like the back is the front. That made no sense, but in the picture it does. And then there's like this tiny pearl chain or something holding it across her lower back. And he paired this with these gold strappy heels, and then the model's hair is this complete frizzed out natural kind of curl. What did we think of Fabio's?
Not my favorite. I really like Fabio, but I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of this. I will say, somehow I do get country from it. I do. This one does both of them. They styled these girls in the exact same way they did on the Little Big Town one. Mm-hmm. Because that one of those women was blonde and had the big curly hair, and then the other one had the darker hair.
Yeah.
And so I've forgotten about that episode, but now I can't stop seeing that. But I don't know. And I could totally see that lady wearing this outfit. So I don't know. I do get a country vibe from it. I just didn't really like it. I felt like it was just stiff. I don't know. I didn't feel like the fabric had any movement. And then there's not a lot of fabric there either. It's quite revealing. Very, very short shorts. And then I like the back, though. The back is nice. I don't know. This one just wasn't my favorite. What'd you think?
It's cute, but it seems so basic. It has some nice details, which is kind of the Fabio way. It's got some interesting details in the front, and I like the back a lot. I think the back is gorgeous. I wish the back of that was the back of a gown with that little chain and then that would just be gorgeous. I could definitely see this being worn more to an event and not on stage. On stage, this doesn't seem like it has enough presence, wham bow, but I could see a little country music starlet wear this on to a smaller red carpet or to a smaller event or something, because I could see a young fresh, I don't know anything about country music other than Garth Brooks, and I don't think he'd wear this, but he could. So it did feel country to me, but really basic, just kind of a basic look. Mm-hmm. Next up, we had Helen, and she made another corset this week. And now that we know she makes corsets after last week, now I want to go back at her other looks and see. So she made this completely out of this gunmetal colored sequin, the whole thing. So it's got detached puff sleeves at the mid bicep that then puff out to pirate shirt levels to the cuffed at the wrist. And then it's a strapless dress with a corset that kind of over the bust comes up in two little devil horn pokes. It's extremely tight. Obviously it's a corset. And then the dress kind of comes down, and she called it a prairie style dress. So it's a bit flowy at the bottom, and it hits just below the knee. So a little more modest. And then this is styled with, I mentioned the styling because I think that elevated some of the looks to look more like their genre. She styled this with little brown boots, not quite cowboy boots, but little brown ankle boots. What did we think of Helen's?
This one, the judges didn't seem to really like this one at all, but I didn't think it was that terrible. I hated the neckline. I don't understand the devil horn thing at all. Mm-hmm. To me, that ruined the whole piece. But I don't know. Last night, I didn't think this one was so bad, but now that I'm looking at it, that sequin stuff is kind of reading like a trash bag. At least in these photos.
In a still image, yeah.
I don't know. And the boots, I feel like, that's pretty cliche country, and to me it makes it look heavy. I'm not sure about it. This one, not her best, but I'm not sure if I thought it was the worst. What'd you think?
I think like sequined or bedazzled things can feel a little country. It makes me think of like Dolly Parton level country. I just think it was a miss to have it all be the same color. Like I think sequins, like on the lights of the runway as this was moving, I was like, oh my god, sparkly. I love it. So glittery. It looked just like water or something. It was really pretty as it moved. But yeah, in a still picture, it looks like oil or something.
Yeah.
I think if she'd made the corset out of a different color fabric and then had, instead of detached sleeves, and I think the judges mentioned this too, have it be a shirt. Like I think if that was like a white shirt and with a dress over it and then make the corset more of like a cute little like brown vest or something, it would have looked more like early Taylor Swift. Back when she was still a country artist, or like, you know, I don't know, a young Carrie Underwood or something. I tapped out. Those are the only ones I know. But I think the skirt length is perfect. I like how it flowed. But yeah, just the detached sleeves and the awkwardly really tight corset top all in one color. Heavy. You nailed it. Heavy. And then she styled the hair in like this kind of all over pulled to one side and then like kind of this messy curl. But again, it looks like she's like weighted down on one side. So there's elements here that could work, but it's just the materiality was a bit of a miss. Fabio was in the top there and Helen in the bottom. And then last up we had Pop. And first up we had Anthony. And he put down, I believe this is separate. So we're not going to call him out for the romper, but it looks like a romper. But it's little black booty shorts, like booty shorts. And then a like black and blue vest. And it's like cobalt blue. More like royal blue, I guess, with these big puffy black mesh sleeves and then like these blue kind of feathery looking applique, just kind of haphazardly put on the front and over the front of the shorts and then in like this little swirl on the back and then basically covering any of her private areas. And then there's like this blue double tier curtain of fringe in like a big triangle. Not triangle. Well, yeah. Just right over her, like, uterus. Like, I don't know, abdomen, I guess. What did we think of Anthony's?
Not my favorite. I really didn't care for the fringe or the, like, applique. To me, it didn't... I like that... I love the blue. I always love the blue. I do like the blue he chose. I think for Pop, it's nice to have a bright, bold color. So I thought that was pretty cool. And here I don't mind so much how short it is. Because, I don't know, I guess I really haven't seen very many pop performances. But when I think of like pop stars, like, I don't know. I could see somebody like, I don't know, Ariana Grande, maybe Katy Perry and something like this. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe
Katy
not
Perry
at
would
all.
show her arms too, for sure.
Yeah. Like, a lot of those pop ladies, they seem fine with showing skin. So, I don't know. I just didn't think it was his best. I don't have a ton to say about it. What do you think?
This has just a lot going on.
Yeah.
I've got booty shorts. I've got mesh. I've also got applique, but don't forget the double layer fringe. It's just, it's a little too busy for me. And also the color story's a little dark for like a pop concert. I haven't been to any pop concerts myself, but I have seen some on television and the internet, and this just feels like they would take that top coat off almost immediately. I think the shorts is a good play, but yeah, it's just the applique and then the fringe, it's a lot, and then the heavy like puffy sleeves. I'm just like, who's gonna wear that the whole time? And he was calling out more people like Beyonce and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm just not sure. It's maybe. But Beyonce would definitely have like a big reveal in the middle. I've seen like footage of a lot of her concerts and she does like a lot of costume changes. So she would definitely be, so does Katy Perry for that matter, like 12 costume changes in like every song. It's nuts. It's fine. Next.
Yeah.
Ken put down a jumpsuit. And he put down, so it's like this white mesh fabric, kind of shimmery, iridescent, I would say. And then it has like this thicker white, almost like a tree root pattern. That makes sense, like a bark kind of pattern up over the mesh. And then he added like some white fabric underneath the jumpsuit to cover her breasts. And he made like these little white, tighty whitey booty short kind of, but like not even, there's no like short pant leg. It's just underneath for her to wear. And then he paired it with like this kind of oversized cream coat that had some kind of interesting draping in the back and like a 3/4 sleeve. What did we think? Oh, I'm sorry. And she's styled with a bob with a blunt bang. What did we think of Ken's?
I don't know. I might have the unpopular opinion, but I didn't like it. I didn't really like it at all. It was just like, to me, this one also had a lot going on. I mean, it was pretty cool, but I can't imagine like a performer wearing a big coat like that, or at least not for very long on stage. Like, yeah, maybe that could be a dramatic reveal, like to throw the coat off or something.
Yeah.
As part of a dance. I don't know. It looked great, like, on the model, and Ken made a lot of comments about, like, how he loved how the white worked against her darker skin, and it is beautiful. But to me, it doesn't feel very young. I don't know. And when I think of a pop star, I think of, like, a younger person.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
It's a younger genre. Or at least it feels that way. So, this one, it's okay, but I didn't love it. What'd you think?
I feel the same. I think this feels more like an event outfit, not a stage performance outfit. I like the kind of like peekaboo reveal where it's like you can see through the fabric, but she's covered still. I think the coat was pretty. It reminded me a little of like Cruella de Vil a bit, especially the way the model had it like slouched off her shoulders most of the time, like Cruella always did. But I don't see it as a stage performance. And I was supposed to be dazzling stage performance wear, and I'm not dazzled.
No.
So, I mean, it's fine. I think it's pretty. I do agree that it looks good on the model's skin tone, but I don't see who would wear this to, like, perform. It seems really restricting, and I don't know.
Well, and a slight critique just overall on the runway. Like, they didn't really sell it at all. There was no, like, performing. Like, I thought maybe they'd, like, bring it back around full circle and, like, have the models...
Let's hold a microphone or something and do, like, a pose at the end. If Lyris was on this season, I guarantee she would have done something, because Lyra's our favorite model from the last regular season. Like, always brought a little something extra to the runway, which, made it fun, because you're just watching, like, 15 women walk down the runway, and she would do, like, a little, like, or she'd just be given some face at the end. So, if they'd give them, like, a microphone or something so that it could at least, or, like, for the rock people, give them a guitar. You know, it doesn't have to work or be plugged in. They could just walk to the end and be like, wow, to see how it, like, moved. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. We used to have such fun runways with, like, wind and rain and all kinds of things, and now it's just, like... the double-bladed battle axe, and they just walk to the end.
I'm telling you, like, that commercial, a lot of these commercials, they've really been hyping us up, and then it just falls flat.
Yeah, next week, and then it's always like, ugh. So Anthony was in the bottom there, and Ken was in the top. And there were no safe designers this week, because we're at the final 6. So that left us with Edmund, Fabio, and Ken in the top. And it turns out that Edmund was our winner. So this is Edmund's first win this season. Do we agree with that?
I have to say I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last week, yes. You could have asked me, do you think Edmund will win next week? I would have been like, no, he's going to go home. Turns out Edmund knows how to make a stage performing rock thing that I could see, someone wearing. A little dated, but still rock. And then in the bottom, we had... Stanley, Helen, and Anthony. They immediately say, Anthony, you're safe. But then to Stanley and Helen, they say, it is so incredibly close. You were both within very close point-wise. But it turns out that Helen was sent home. Do we agree with that?
I don't know. I guess, like, this week, it is close. I've been wanting Stanley to go home for a while. Like, I still haven't forgiven them for the goldfish dress.
He's won 3 times.
It's crazy. It just blows my mind. Because I just don't see what the judges see in his work a lot of the time, I guess. But at the same time, when I really think about it, have I really loved anything Helen's made? I liked, what was it, the color blocking with her purple and blue. I thought that was great. But I don't know. I guess it's kind of the same for her, though. There haven't been too many pieces of hers that I was blown away by.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they probably both need to go. So we'll see.
Yeah. I think Stanley's was weaker this week just because it was so cliche and, like, childish. But Helen's was not good either.
No.
The only, like, I've talked about this every episode for, like, 3 episodes now. But only one woman won a single challenge this season, and that was Merlene in Challenge 1. Mm-hmm. No other woman has won. They've been at the top, but they haven't won. 10 episodes. This is our 9th woman out with only one person in the gap, Joshua last week. Otherwise, it was 8 in a row, and now 9th. So going into the top 5, I am extremely happy that they're all people of color. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
But the fact that there's not a single woman has me very upset. Like, it's just like, how? Rebecca Minkoff even mentioned it when she came in. She's like, oh, there's only one woman left.
Mm-hmm.
With ladies first, which, but it's just like, cool. So that's the future of fashion, which, you know, better than 5, you know, old white guys, I guess, but still, it's just kind of like, and then knowing this was filmed in 2016, so before Harvey was ousted, I don't like it. Yeah. I don't like it, and I'm going to say it every week. Not a fan. So I'll get out my quotes of the week, and then we'll get into next week preview. So first up, we had Stanley in his talking head saying, with a gesture with the hand that was so graceful, he's like, oh, this preppy stuff. You don't even know. I rock. I'm rock. And I was like, yay, Stanley. No, he wasn't wearing his fez this time, but I'm rock. Okay. Then we had Anthony talking to Stanley because Stanley wanted to make 5 pieces. He was like 4, maybe 5. And Anthony was like, we have an agreement that I'm supposed to stop him at 3 pieces, which is nice for them to have that. And Anthony was just like, we ain't doing no 8-piece with 2 sides and a biscuit on this challenge. Like, I just love Anthony's quotes. Oh my gosh. I'm going to like use that in my life when people are trying to be extra. Unfortunately, I'm usually the extra one, so I'll have to say it about myself. But there's so many Anthony quotes from this season that are like going to be in my repertoire now that I will use. Next up, we have Fabio talking about Helen because they had the same genre. And he's saying, I'm looking over what Helen's doing and it's making me feel better about myself, which is like, we don't get a lot from Fabio. Talking head moments or anything like that compared to like Anthony and Ken, I would say. But when we do, like, Fabio throws a little shade, and I didn't see his original season, but like a little shade, and I'm always like, Fabio, like, especially against like poor Helen. Next time we get Ken, because him and Anthony had the same genre as well. He says, that damn Anthony snuck up on me like a thief in the night. Because once Anthony put all his like pieces together, his look looked a little more cohesive, and I think Ken was just like, Then Isaac on Stanley's look on the runway said, it looks like a men's tie. And I agree. I feel like a lot of men have like a black tie with gray and red stripes. It's like the classic, like at an angle. Like classic old man tie. Then we had our guest judge Olivia saying, Ken, you're giving me life. Because Ken likes to make a power suit for a power woman. He made a nice power jumpsuit. I don't think either of us were super fans of it for this challenge, but like as a look, it was fine. If it wasn't this challenge, we may have been like, but she really didn't have a whole lot to say. Slightly better than some judges, I will say that. Like, she had a few times where she like asked more details about the clothes versus just. Now at one point she did ask Edmund to take off the vest, and he's like, it's mesh underneath, so you might see things. And Alyssa with Milano was like, it's TV, we can't leave the vest on, like, because normally models, it's just kind of like, well, you're gonna show what you're gonna show. And then my last quote this week is from Helen after she was outed. She said, I feel empowered because I came back, I kicked ass, and I don't feel like my work was disappointing. Because this is her 3rd time now on Project Runway, technically. And she hasn't won any of those times, but she felt empowered to be back and to, like, face that again. And I think she made it pretty far. Like, top 6 is pretty far. I didn't see her other seasons, so I don't know. Did she make it, like, to the final 4 ever? Yeah?
I think she did make it all the way, or close.
Okay.
I'll have to look back, I guess. But I know she did, because I know Tim visited her.
Okay. So, Unfortunately, she didn't make it to the final 4 or 3 this time, and it's hard to say if we'll have a final 4 or a final 3.
Yeah, true.
All Stars is a little different, where they don't do, like, it's not New York Fashion Week, it's usually something else. But otherwise, next week, I've got 3 words for you. Nina, Candy, Kelly.
Oh my God.
So it's Nina Garcia was on the Runway, so maybe giving the challenge. Candy Crush, such a relevant game in 2018. I know it was huge a few years ago. I think even in 2016. I don't remember. Candy Crush, like, I know people still play it, don't get me wrong. There's people right now being like, I'm crushing candy all over. But it was, like, huge for, like, 6 months back, like, several years ago. It was, like, one of the first big, like, smartphone games where, like, everybody was playing it. It was, like, the next Farmville or whatever. We're old. But not that old. Okay, and then the Kelly is Kelly Osbourne, who is frequently a guest judge on the show, and I think she's a permanent judge on Project Runway Jr.
Oh, okay.
I think she's one of the, like, normal panel judges. She usually has some good things to say, and if nothing else, she's always fun for a little... She'll dig right into the drama, too, or she'll just, like, lay stuff out on the line. So that'll be an interesting episode, I think, just for the fact that Nina and Kelly will be good. I don't know about the Candy Crush thing, but whatever. It didn't look like it was going to be unconventional, though. Like, they're not making candy looks. Yeah, you looked... For those listening at home, Maggie's face when I said candy lit up like a Christmas tree because of the unconventional challenge possibility. But I saw someone holding fabric, and also, unfortunately, we saw Anne Fullenwider.
Oh,
so
okay.
I was excited with Rebecca this episode because I was like, ooh, does that mean we're going to have, like, a different, like, person be the mentor from now on? Or we're not going to have Anne? Did they, like, complain enough that they got Anne out? No, she's back. She's probably just to Cancun or something.
Darn it.
I know.
Well, they've done an unconventional challenge with Candy in the past. That was one of my favorite episodes of all time. It's so great. Some
of the early unconventional challenges were amazing. Austin's Scarlet Corn Dress still has me shook. Like, I love them. Those, like, early, love it. And Christian Siriano's, not unconventional, avant-garde dress that he made with Chris March. I still go back and look at it sometimes because I'm just like, this is all, like, it's so good. But still glam. Oh, I love it. Okay, so anything else from this episode?
No. Overall, another kind of dud for me. I didn't feel like... I liked Edmund's look, but I wasn't really wowed by anything, as usual. And, you know, like I said earlier, just disappointed in, like, how it played out. Like, they didn't have the models do anything fun on the runway. There were no actual performers. Yeah. It was just, like...
They didn't even use licensed music. Like, they used, like, Creative Commons music for the runway, for, like, the jukebox songs. So they didn't even pay money to have, like, 3 seconds of a licensed actual rock song. And then, they couldn't even have their guest judge be a musician. Yeah. Especially someone, probably Taylor Swift not going to come on to Project Runway Season 6, okay? All-Star Season 6. But, like, you could have gotten somebody who's maybe transcended from, like, between a couple genres. There's got to be at least a few people out there who aren't super popular anymore, because they don't seem to get, like, the big stars. They always seem to get, like, the next in line. No offense, Olivia and everyone else for the last few seasons. But it never, like, it's always, like, new upcoming folks or people who are, you know, whatever. Yeah. I just offended everyone. Sorry about it. This season's just, I was so excited. All Stars is always so much fun. We had such a cool, we started off with so many cool designers, and we're left with a few. I still like Ken. Had never known Anthony. I like Anthony now. Fabio's made some cool stuff. Stanley and Edmund, I'm hoping the next 2 episodes we see them go, but my God, Stanley's won 3 times, so probably not, but... So I'm still excited for who we have left. I just feel like we lost a lot of cool folks along the way that maybe went early or at a wrong time, and I'd rather a couple of them were still kicking around, but it is what it is. But otherwise, I think that's it for us this week. Yep. So we'll see you guys all next week. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at RavRunway. We're also on Apple, iTunes, and podcasts. We're on Google Play. We're on Podiant, YouTube, WordPress, all those fun podcast apps you love. So like us, rate us, review us, share us, please. Rate us on iTunes. That would be awesome. Tweet me. Check me out on Instagram. You know, give us a follow. But otherwise, we'll see you guys next week.